Today is Thursday, April 18th, 2019, and Philadelphia went 6-7 in the past week, with the Sixers going 1-1, Phillies going 4-2, Fusion 1-1, the Wings losing their 2 games, and the Union losing theirs. All this and more coming up here, so sit down, relax, and enjoy your ride on the Orange Line.
He had high hopes. He had high hopes.
Clap your hands, everybody, for Philadelphia 76.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of your 8 for 8 Philadelphia Sports Podcast. I am your host, Dr. PhD. It's very nice to see you. As always, there's a lot to talk about, and I want to start off where I ended last week, which was on the Philadelphia Phillies. As you can see here, in the past few games, the Phillies were able to pick up a couple of wins against the Marlins, a couple of wins against the Mets, but still had some trouble areas right before they went into this 17 games in a row. Homestand? No, not a homestand. They played 17 games in a row. But right before going into this, they had lost both games here against the Nationals, which it started to pose some questions about this team. One of the things that I wanted to continue to talk about is the fact that this team it's really good. This team has a whole lot of talent to it. The problem that it's going to have is that all of the talent is pretty much on the field, and it's in the batter's box. So it's not necessarily going to be some top tier pitching talent or anything like that, which can cause problems. We already took a look at what they've done in the past month, which on its own makes it seem, really tough in terms of having to deal with the pitching. Just because of the fact that when we don't necessarily have all things firing on all cylinders, in terms of defensively, and especially on the mound, one of the biggest problems is going to be just being able to stay in the game with our bats, and it seems like we can't necessarily coordinate the days when we score 14 runs, but at the same time, we also can't really predict when that's going to happen. So it's going to be interesting to see if the pitchers and the batters end up syncing up, or if we're just able to elevate the pitchers a little bit more. I know Nick Pivetta was just sent down to the AAA, which is all right, I guess. He's someone that I really want to come back better. You see here the Phils option Pivetta. And they put Eichhoff in rotation, and he did actually pretty well, I believe. So it's going to be interesting to see if Pivetta ends up making a comeback or not, just because of the fact that he's a pitcher that could have been really good but had spotty moments, and now it's kind of coming back to bite him in the bum a little bit. So who knows? Really where this team is gonna go, but so far 11-6, things look pretty good. Coming up within the week, we do have still a whole bunch of games, 7 of them to be played, to be exact. We start a series today against the Rockies in Colorado. That is going to be a 4-game series, and then we start back again with the Mets on Monday, but playing them in New York. Or did they play in New Jersey? Regardless, it doesn't matter. They suck, and I hate them. Moving forward, let's get the Sixers out of the way, and I don't want to mean out of the way as in like out of the way because I don't want to talk about them. I really do. As everyone should be aware, the Philadelphia Sixers are in the NBA playoffs, and they're kind of poised to make. I won't say a run. They're poised to be one of the better teams, which didn't necessarily show up in the beginning of the series, just because of the fact that we weren't able to land shots, and then I think when the fans caught on to the fact that the Sixers weren't able to land their shots, they were Philadelphia about it. So they let them have it. They were booing right down on them, which obviously got to them after the game. Both Embiid and Simmons had something to say. Embiid gave a lot of answers that I really liked. He was asked about the fans' interaction and, what all was happening with his play and the rest of the team's play. And what he pretty much said was we just weren't making shots. We weren't playing as well as we should. And it kind of ends up hurting them. And they absolutely have a right to boo. And I can't agree more. I think the thing that I said when I was talking about this at work was that he just gets it. He understands. He knows that Philadelphia is gonna boo when they want. They're not gonna be fun to experience, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what else I can say in regards to that. Just because of the fact that they've been kind of shitting the bed in recent memory, but they came back. They came back on Monday and had an incredible game. I believe the stat that I saw was that it was the most points scored in a playoff game. I think. But I know it was a very good game for our boys. Unfortunately, I had a prior obligation, so I was not able to watch the game. But I wish I had, and yeah, we can see here the Sixers' 145 points ends up becoming a postseason record. So good job to this team. I hope this is a good sign to come. Not right now, Embiid, but maybe we'll get to you later. I hope this is a sign of what's going to come in the series, just because I think this team can be really good. We've got a whole bunch of people on this team like J.J. Redick and Tobias Harris. Mike Scott is a good guy off of the bench, and they play a lot better than what their Game 1 performance shows, which is one of my big things with this team, is just that I think they underplayed. I said that I didn't want them to play down to the Nets level, and it kind of seemed like in Game 1 they did, which is a little annoying, you know what I mean? It's not necessarily something that I want to see, my Philadelphia sports team, our Philadelphia sports team, do, especially when we're supposed to be one of the better teams in the league and we lose by 9 to one of the not so better teams. But I was very confident moving forward after that game just because of how well Jimmy Butler did. 36 points, absolutely turned it up in the second half, which kind of sparked the team a little bit. And it probably facilitated something going into Monday, which is why this team did so well. And I also heard that apparently Brett Brown had a talking to, if that makes any sense, with the team, where he pretty much just like cursed them out, which motivated all of them. I saw Embiid, Simmons, and Butler. I was pointing at the screen instead of moving the mouse. But that I saw all three of them were pretty happy with the fact that they got just screamed at, just because they were like, hey, it helped motivate us. We liked seeing that side of him. So in that aspect, good job, Brett Brown. Making it not such a bad guy, I guess. I don't know. The Sixers are continuing this potentially 7-game series on Thursday. That's today. Hooray! I'm excited for the game, as you can probably see. But they are playing in Brooklyn for the next 2 games, so they're going to be playing today, Saturday, and Tuesday. And hopefully we can just boom, 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 and clean out this series. Because I think we can. I really think that we have the ability to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to oversell this team, but I think this team is really good. And everything that I've seen them play, like even on their bad days, I'm like, well, this guy's still being really good. They just like don't seem to care, which you can maybe argue, maybe. I'm not going to say anything. That's not me. I can't say anything. But potentially, who knows? All right. Let's talk about the Flyers right now. They're still in the news. Whoa, that's pretty great considering the fact that they're out. They're done. Their season's over. A little underwhelming, I know. But yeah, they are back in the news in regards to their coaching. That was one of the things that was always in question, probably for the past 2 years. And now we're finally getting some better answers. Before it was just like, yeah, we're sticking with Hack, and no one liked that. That was the answer. No one just wanted it. Then going into this year, it was like, all right, well, maybe not Hack. And then you started thinking about Gordon, then Q got on the market, and it's like, what are we going to do? So the answer ended up coming in the form of Alain Vigneault. He is the new Flyers head coach. Good for him. Good luck. You're going to need it because this team and its fan base can be assholes. It can be assholes. That's what I'll say. I am pretty happy about this. I've talked to a lot of people throughout, since he got hired, which was like 3 days ago. I don't know. But since he got hired, I've just been like, hey, what are your thoughts? Just trying to gauge people's reaction. And some people were like, this is so stupid. Why would we even hire him? I had one person, I tweeted this out, I had one person equate him to Brett Brown. And I was like, first of all, that's a completely different sport. So I wouldn't even try that. Secondly, they've gone through things entirely differently. So if it's just me, I wouldn't, try to set that comparison up. Like I said, that's just me. I can't talk for anyone else. But that being said, I've had other people say that they're kind of excited. He has a bit of a resume to him, as you can see. Because you can actually see this. I haven't addressed this yet, but I have a webcam now. So for those of you who are on YouTube and watch or listen to this podcast, now there's a bit better of a visual instead of just the broad street line going down your screen. We have me and a screen. Hooray! I'm over there somewhere. But yeah, I am incredibly excited about this. I always hope to improve this podcast, and I thought this was going to be a good way. I'm also excited about Vigneault myself. He's played with a few teams, not played with, but coached for a few teams, and he's had some pretty good seasons. 3 seasons with over 50 wins. I saw that he had like 8 of those seasons had 40 or 45 wins or something like that. He does have a resume to him, so I'm very excited. 9 seasons with 45 wins, and I think that's so great to hear that we're gonna have a competent coach, not someone who is just coming in from God knows where, some random college somewhere. But it's going to be someone who is coming in. They're going to have experience with everything. Pardon me. And he's going to be able to get down to the nitty and the gritty, which is 2 things that are definitely needed for this team. I just hope he's able to facilitate more growth with the younger kids on the team, because I think that's one of the biggest things going forward is the fact that these kids are worth protecting so much, and they need to grow and they need to continue to get better. Because as much as I love Travis Konechny right now, he could still grow as a player, and he can absolutely be a lot better in next season, 2 seasons. I think some of these kids are, I say kids like they're all, like I'm super old. But I think some of these kids are not quite there. They're almost there. And the thing I'm afraid of is we get James Van Riemsdyk number 2, which is where he pretty much goes, all right, well, I'm pretty good. I was a high draft pick if you're not aware of that. And then he just wasn't really panning out for us, so we traded him away. He did great, just like almost everyone that gets traded from the Flyers. Go figure. That's why I'm still upset about Braden Chen. He's doing pretty well for himself right now. I'm just saying. But yeah, I just don't want any of these kids to be traded away, and I want them to reach their full potential with us, so then they can stay with us. Hooray! Who wouldn't want that? Honestly, who wouldn't want that? They don't have any games or anything coming up just because the season's over. They didn't do too well. They don't get playoffs. So the only thing I could think of, I asked this again on Twitter. You should follow me. Follow the Orange Line at Orange Line Pod, spelled exactly the way you would think, and follow me specifically at Dr. PhD, DOCTER PhD. But on there, I tweeted something. What did I tweet? Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. But it was probably something very clever, and it was probably something very cool. Oh, no, I remember. It was that since both Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh got booted out of the playoffs as quickly as possible, sweep for both of them, against both of them. It's the closest thing I could think of to being like, would that be a win for Philadelphia? So I'm gonna count it. So I said that we went 6-7 this week. Philadelphia really went 8-7. So that's awesome. Oh wait, no, I lied. Philadelphia did not go 8-7. The correct answer is that Philadelphia went 9-7. Because I've been talking about this for a while because I'm so excited. But I'm excited for the return of the heart and soul of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Soul. Arena Football League is days away. It is so close. And I'm beyond excited. But the reason I'm saying that we are 9-7, Philadelphia is 9-7, is because this past weekend they had a scrimmage against the brand new Atlanta Blackjacks, I believe, which is fun. That's really fun because, it's showing that they're getting ready to play. They're gonna have a fun time. And I know it's not necessarily in the news as often as other mainstream sports or anything like that. But arena football is very fun. If you want any, kind of news or anything like that, feel free to follow this account, AFL Endzone. I know they don't have very many followers, but they're very, very hardly. No, that doesn't make sense. They're doing a really good job of, trying to get their name out there. They do a lot of great reporting. As you can see, they are starting player Q&As, starting off with a player from the Soul, Beige God. Man, what a trap lord name. I love it. But yeah, it's so much fun to watch arena football, and it's going to be so much fun seeing it live. We are so close. So I'm very excited. Feel free to follow AFL Endzone because they do a very good job of reporting on all of the AFL. So if there is a different team that you might be rooting for, which you shouldn't, because the Soul are great, but if there is a team that you might be rooting for that's not the Soul, they're a pretty good source. And the Soul do not have a game yet. We are less than 2 weeks away. No, not even. I believe the game is on the 27th. You know what that means? We are 9 days away from the Philadelphia Soul. Hooray! We are also very close to the end of the Wings season. The Wings are wrapping things up, and they are not going to be home for the rest of the season. Very upsetting. Just because of the fact that they are on a 3-game road trip, which is culminating here in Georgia against the Swarm on Saturday. It's their last game of the season. But the one big piece of news is that man right there, Trevor Baptiste. Love this guy. He's a freak. On the plus, I believe. Is it a plus? Is it a dot? I don't know. He's incredible at faceoffs. He now has the NLL rookie faceoff record. But the thing that I heard is that he is, I think, 6 faceoffs away from setting the all-time face-offs in a season. I don't know, something like that. But the man is a monster, and I don't know. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because this dude is a freak, and I want a Wings representative to hold that record. It's got to be awesome, right? It's got to be great. So big ups to Trevor Baptiste. Saw a tweet today that he is he's not where he wants to be in terms of being a player. He still has room to evolve. I mean, he is a rookie in the NLL, so he he's recognizing that he still has a bit to go, which is great. I love seeing that. Another notable player to name would be Matt Rambo. He's done incredibly well for himself, especially just because he is also a rookie, doing very well, scoring a whole bunch of goals. I've seen him score a lot of goals at home, which is cool because he is a hometown hero. Growing up in my hometown of Abington, Pennsylvania, just a bit out of Philadelphia. So it's cool to see one of my boys be one of my boys on the team and representing. Also, shout out to Kyle Matisse, 400 career points, which I can only believe is going to continue to grow. Moving forward, we do have Overwatch to talk about, one of my favorite things. I know it's not everyone's favorite sport. It's the most controversial sport that's out there right now. That's what I'll say. But yeah, they did okay last week. After week 1 of stage 2 here in Overwatch League, they had a few questions. They got beat up a little bit by the New York Excelsior, and then were able to pick up a pretty decent win over the Florida Mayhem. So that is, it made us kind of question what was going to happen this week. And this week I don't know how to put this week. I think one thing that I want to say about this week is they played very well against Toronto Defiant, and they played from behind against London. And the reason I say that is because you can see here they went 2-1 against London, which means they were able to tie a map. And that was map 2. That was right before halftime. And it was actually right before I turned the stream off because I was like, Fusion doesn't seem to be with it today. They looked like they were struggling, and that was Saturday, so I was opting to watch the Sixers game. Sorry, Fusion, but it proved to not be great. That's what I'll say. It proved to be a lot better than what I was expecting because they ended up timing the London Spitfire out in map 2, which made them go into overtime, and overtime didn't really work out for Spitfire, so it ended up being a draw, which is great for us, and it meant we got our mojo back into it going into that game. I believe Prophet was really just taking it to Carpe, who is one of our best players. He's someone that can absolutely change the game, and unfortunately so is Prophet. And he was just completely outpacing, is what I'll say. He was outpacing Carpe in the Zarya matchup, and was able to put a lot more damage out there, was able to get his energy up a lot more. But Carpe, being the monster that he is, fought back and was able to even up that matchup. I mean, like I already said, it felt like the Fusion were fighting an uphill battle, that they weren't necessarily doing the best job. I don't know, but it was very good to see them get better as it went on. They ended up winning map 3, and going into map 4, it really seemed like a coin flip. London was just able to pull it out. So GG's to London, GG's to Toronto this week, last week I should say, because this week we're playing the Excelsior again tonight. It's the first game of week 3. Hopefully we can get redemption for that incredibly tough loss. And then tomorrow, Friday, We are playing the Houston Outlaws, which I'll be honest, I don't necessarily know. So let's take a look at the standings here. We're gonna scroll on down, and it seems like Houston is in 12th. They are doing all right. They've only played 2 games in stage 2 so far, so I don't really think we can judge yet. But hopefully, Fusion can continue to be as good a team as we know they can be. Because that's just what I want for this team. I want this team to be as good as possible. I want all my teams to be good as possible. Like the Eagles, they still have their draft, which is a little bit away. So let's get excited about that, I guess. I don't know. One thing I am excited about is they just released the schedule for the 2019 season, and a lot of people are really excited about it. I haven't looked too in depth to it, but I think the fact that we have a very easy, that's very subjective, but a seemingly decent last 8 weeks seems like a good thing for us. The schedule looks like it can be one that can be fairly beneficial with us early on in the season. We do have some tough games. Green Bay is one of the teams that we're going to be having to face fairly early on. Same thing with the Patriots and Minnesota. So I think this team can do well. I've seen a lot of polls of people's opinions of, how well do you think the Eagles are going to do? I'm very optimistic about this team because I've seen that this team can be absolutely incredible, especially with a healthy Carson Wentz, which I hope he's going into this season as. But I really think this team can do well. I say 11 wins. 11 wins, which is, it's pretty damn good if you ask me. And that's just my opinion. But I would love to hear your opinions. Feel free, if you're on YouTube watching this, hello. Feel free to comment down below and let me know what your opinions are. Like and subscribe too. That would be great. Another thing that you can do is follow me on Twitter. And let me know there. That's going to be at Dr. PhD, DOCTER PhD. Or follow the podcast itself, Orange Line Pod, spelled exactly the way you think. It's fairly easy. I think I'm going to tone down the live tweets just a little bit. I'm going to pick 2 games out of the week that I'm going to watch and live tweet. 2 games, 2 matches. And I'm going to try to make them different sports if possible. So, what I'm going to do is this week is going to be tonight on Thursday. I'm going to be watching the Fusion take on the New York Excelsior. And then I think on Monday I will, instead of watching Monday Night Raw, I will live tweet the Phillies game where we take on the Mets in New York. So I'm going to tone that down. Those are going to be 2 of my 3 Dr. PhD picks of the week. The third one I'm going to be saying is be on the lookout for Trevor Baptiste. Trevor Baptiste can absolutely smash the old NLL face-off record because he takes pretty much all of our face-offs. The last time I checked, which was weeks ago, mind you, but the last time I checked as to who has face-off wins for the Wings, there was only like 7 other face-offs that Baptiste has not taken. So I have a good feeling. I have a very good feeling for Trevor Baptiste. So be on the lookout for all of those great things. I hope you're doing well. I'll I am. I had a very hard day. If you can tell, I'm a little sick right now. My horse is a little itchy and scratchy. I've been doing that with my nose, and that's why you had to see me wipe it a little bit. Apologies for that. I promise it's not going to happen on future episodes, so thank you for bearing with me. I hope you like the video format. If you do watch this, let me know of what other things I can potentially do to help improve the podcast and improve the products that I put out there. I'm considering streaming on Twitch, playing some various games. I have a whole setup back there. But yeah, as for this week, I'm excited for Philadelphia. You should be too. This has been the Orange Line. Thank you for riding with me, joining me, whatever. Thanks.